Welcome to the RV Podcast. This is episode 430.
Coming to you from the Tampa RV Show. We'll have some stuff to talk about that, but our main topic is how you can save money on the road. Hello everybody, we're Mike and Jennifer Wendland, and yes, we are at the Tampa RV Show. The public show as we record this doesn't open until Wednesday, and we're at the campground kind of getting ready for Industry Day, which was Tuesday, and we have some good news and bad news to report. The good news is it's warm.
That it is.
We're de-winterized.
Yes.
There's not a cloud in the sky.
Beautiful shade of blue.
But we're really not enjoying it much because of the bad news.
The bad news is...
I joined a rather commonly membered club of those who have a fifth wheel. I was backing in, and the corner of the fifth wheel smashed out the rear window of my Ford F-250.
And it is a good thing Bo is in such good athletic shape. He immediately jumped into my lap. Just like, boom! I had a 63-pound L count in my lap. And my hope is that we can get him back into the back seat someday.
It's going to be interesting. So our big challenge, besides all the work we have to do at the show here, is how we're going to get this window fixed.
First challenge, vacuuming up all that glass, because it's going to keep falling out forever.
And then doing our work.
Yes.
And so wish us luck on all of that.
Can we tell them too? We recorded the whole podcast and then the sound didn't work.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about going in there and just hiding in the corner till this day's over.
Yeah, I think so. That's probably a good idea. But the show must go on, so we will finish the podcast. Okay, let's clear up one other thing. Yes, I am growing a beard. I look a bit scruffy. Somebody saw our live shot on Tuesday and said, Mike looks very tired. Well, it's probably because I haven't shaved in a few days. Now, we decided to do the beard. We announced that after our winter camp out, a bunch of you said, I did an audience poll, and they all said, yeah, do it. And then I got home, and I actually forgot about it and shaved it off. So
you were thinking about other things.
I was thinking about other things. And
so if any out there think I'm riding them too hard, sometimes when I make suggestions and say things, I know my man. He needs a little help, and I need a little help too.
I need a lot of help. Anyway, we're delighted to be at the show. Lots of things happening. As they say, we're recording it before it actually opens because we will be very busy at the show. If you are here, we would love to meet you. We'll be doing a meetup in the pavilion area. It's where you can get beer.
Food.
I could use a few today after this. Beer and food on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. So come and say hi to us there. We'll also update on Instagram what we're doing. What else do we have to share? Lots of news coming out of this. Some of it's embargoed, meaning we can't tell you what we know until after. But there is going to be a big reveal of a new EV RV from Winnebago. They showed us one last year. This new one is kind of the version 2 on the Ford Transit chassis. And they tell me I'm going to be able to actually test drive that. So we'll have that we'll show you in one of our Saturday videos coming up. We're going to look at a lot of new models. What's your favorite thing about this show?
Seeing new things, innovation, new models. I love that.
One of the things I really like is all the other influencers and YouTubers who are here. It's kind of like, you remember those stories in the frontier of the mountain men rendezvous, and they would all get together once a year. They'd all go off trapping and hunting, and then they'd come and they'd all get together. That's kind of what this Tampa RV show is for a lot of us YouTubers. Many of us know each other, and we all get to kind of hang out together, and you'll meet a few of them as we share some money-saving tips. Coming up is the RV podcast continues. Stay with us.
Tired of overcrowded campgrounds and competing for reservations, paying high fees for sites? Well, ownership is an emerging trend in RVing that might be right for you. It was for Jen and me. We bought some land just west of Nashville, Tennessee, in an incredible collection of mountaintop RV properties called the Woodlands at Buffalo River. These are 5 to 62 acre properties that allow RVs year-round starting at $79,900, and we loved it. The scenery is breathtaking, and you can own it outright. It's not a timeshare. It's your property, your way. You can landscape, garden, bring your pets, build what you want to. There's high-speed internet, And it's so private. It's a great place to make your home base. No more calling around for reservations, ready whenever you want. And they're selling these properties by appointment, 5 to 62 acres, $79,900. Financing, big discounts available on multi-lot packages. For information, visit myrvland.com. myrvland.com.
All right, welcome back. We have moved inside our Arcadia fifth wheel, which is what we are camping with here at the Florida RV Super Show. And for one day, I was actually getting hot outside.
Well, you have a sunburn already.
I've only been out in it for like a half hour.
I'm going to have to add that to my list to buy some lotion.
Well. This is the topic of the week that we want to dig into, saving money on the road. A recent survey by the RV Industry Association found that 37% of all Americans, that works out to something like 67 million of them, plan an RV vacation this coming year. And a key factor is that RV vacations typically cost 50% less than comparable hotel and motel and plane trips and other types of travel. So a lot of people are out there. Now, for full-timers, they're fighting the pressure of all these other folks coming and high prices, because with such a big market, it's a seller's market and everything costs more in times of inflation. And with everybody trying to go camping, those costs are going to go up, even though they're generally cheaper than regular travel. Anyway, all that's to say, we thought it'd be a good idea to find out from others and from ourselves, from our experience, some tips that we can share with you about how to save money on the road.
Boy, the economy is just putting a squeeze on everything in our lives, including our camping. And, we all need to get away. And I think it's pretty incredible, that survey that was taken, that everybody wants to go someplace new in 2023, which I think is awesome. And 50% say that their camping trip is only going to cost $500. They have a budget, and $500, that's it. So closer to home and go someplace new.
So how do you save money? Now, at the Tampa RV Show, we noted earlier that we are here, and there's a lot of other RV influencers as well, and YouTubers, and a lot of them are friends that we have met. We meet year after year at the show. And we thought to save ourselves a little bit of work and to maybe get some stuff that we've missed, we would start off by asking some of the other YouTubers their suggestions for saving money on the road.
I'm Dan Hunt from the RV Life podcast with my co-host Patty Hunt. We also have the YouTube channel Exploring Through Our Lens. Our tip for the day is the TSD card. Now, you have to go through the diesel trucker lanes if you have this card. The card is absolutely free. They debit the money out of your bank account. But we save 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cents a gallon every time we use it.
Now you have to go, like you say, through the trucker lane, and it's free to get.
It's absolutely free, and yes, you do have to go through the trucker lanes. So it's the TDS and the Loves and those types of gas stations. They're the trucker lanes. You go through, you pull up, you put your codes in, they give you a special credit card. And Patty and I save 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cents a gallon. And it's just been something that has saved us hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Hi, we're John and Sherry from Amp to Glamp, and our cost savings tip today is that if you are retired or if you're a military veteran, you should be staying at military campgrounds. Most military bases have them, and the costs start as low as $15 a night.
And a bonus tip, you can also store at most military bases as well.
You can keep your RV there.
Right.
And it is way less than storing anyplace else. As a matter of fact, we store our RV on a Army base, and we pay for an entire year what most people pay for 1 month.
Yes, we do.
I'm Bob Bouchard. We're with two veterans on the move, and Mike asked me about a tip for saving money while on the road, and the best way we've saved money is by staying extended stays.
So how does that work?
Typically you book for a week or week to a month, or even longer if you can, seasonal, and you get discounted rates. The longer you stay, typically the more you save.
I'm Ashley Peoples with Peoples in Places. We're predominantly on Instagram, but we're also on YouTube and TikTok and all the platforms. And one thing that we really save a lot of money from is using our membership through Thousand Trails. We did get the adventure membership, and we think it's totally worth it if you are going to be predominantly in Thousand Trails parks.
Now explain how that works, because they get a free stay once you put some money up front.
Yeah, so our membership, when we purchased it in 2021, it was about $15,000 up front, and then we pay yearly dues. But I get basically first pick of what I want. So Thousand Trails, I get 180 days out, and then within the Encore system, so yeah, all the extra parks, you get 90 days, whereas most people get around 60.
So have you made that $15,000 up in savings?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. We've been on the road for almost 2 years now, and I would say not only have we made up the money, but I feel like the value that it brings, getting what I want, when I want, brings value. So we just got back from the Keys for 3 weeks.
3 weeks. It
And
cost you?
$20 a night in the Keys because it's a little extra, but oftentimes I pay $0.
I'm Brian with Jones and To Go, and one of the things that we do to save money on the road is use memberships like Passport America. That has saved us a lot, especially with just overnight trips on our way to a long destination.
Well, those are some pretty good tips.
Excellent tips.
Well, we got some of our own.
Yeah, we decided that we were going to put our thinking caps on and our experience over the last 10 plus years of how you can save money. So, tip number 1, drum roll. Choose locations with cost in mind.
Yeah, that is really important. Some areas of the country are very expensive, like Pigeon Forge and Branson, and California. If you're heading to Yosemite, look at places where you do a little research on the area and find places where activities and campground costs are a little less money than in other places. I think, for example, of the Emerald Coast in Florida, one of our favorite places. The season down there, when all the prices are high, is the summertime. You wouldn't think that in Florida, right? You'd think everybody came in the winter. Well, it's actually a little cooler in the summertime, so everybody flocks there, and that's the season from May until September. So you're planning a trip to the Emerald Coast, visit in the fall or in the early summer or late spring, and you'll find that those prices haven't spiked up yet. And there's lots of places in the country like that. Choose a location. The other thing is something that you're pretty good at, setting a budget. Number 2.
Set your budget. And I have heard this recommended before, that you have envelopes and say this much for gas, this much for food, this much for entertainment that you're going to buy. But put the money in those envelopes and then don't spend more than what you have designated for the different expenses that you know are coming up. And then if you get pretty well through your week and no emergencies, maybe you could splurge a little bit. But setting that budget, that is just really, really, something you have to think about.
Now, one thing I noticed that you do regularly is you write down everything we spend. And I tend to just, hey, put it on the credit card and, it's free money. Don't I wish? But writing it down helps you realize, hey, we're approaching that budget. So that's number 2.
I think people forget about firewood and entrance fees for different things that they want to go see.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3 is eating inside the RV as much as possible.
Because it costs a lot more money to eat out, right? So you make a lot of freeze meals that you make at home and you freeze?
As many meals as I can squeeze into my freezer, I make meals at home. So it's just easier, all around easier. And maybe if you take some recipes with you that you know are easy to fix meals, take those recipe cards with you so that you're ready.
And cook out a lot?
Oh, yeah.
That's a very social thing. People always stop by because it smells good. But make the cooking out experience a part of the social time. And I remember special meals you used to make. We used to make around a campfire. Those little pockets of ground beef and aluminum wrapped up in aluminum with potatoes and ground beef and some veggies in them. What do we call those? Hobo meals or camper? It's not a politically correct term. Hobo meals. Homeless meals.
We only ate those when we were camping out.
And the
kids thought it was a great sport because they got to flip them every now and then, and it was so good when they finally got done. And they do smell good when they're cooking.
Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to eat out at all, because you can, and that's the beauty of traveling, is the eating experiences. But here's a way to save money on it. Make your big meal that you splurge on lunch instead of dinner. Almost always, restaurants, their luncheon menu is less expensive than the dinner menu, and many times it's the same exact meals, or maybe a little less serving in the luncheon meal. But you can save a considerable amount of money find out what time they switch the menus and eat before.
And casinos.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Casinos have good buffets or whatever. We all need buffets.
Yeah.
And I think some of the casinos now are smoke-free, because I never could do the trade-off.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's a great way to save those buffet meals at casinos. Casinos always put pretty good food on that, because they want to draw people in, and that's a great way to save a lot of money. Number 5. Number 5
is fuel efficiency, trying to find apps that'll help you find the cheapest gas.
Now, you heard that one app for saving for diesel. But there are, for those of you who are in gas-powered vehicles, there are all sorts of things like Gas Buddy. The free app Gas Buddy will help you keep track of where you can find what the prices are, the current prices are, and you can look on that app and decide maybe I want to go down one more exit or one town over, and it's much cheaper there. So use that to do it. And then another big way to save money and be more efficient with fuel is drive slower.
Oh, that's so hard to do. With a fifth wheel, they say 62 to 65 is a sweet spot for driving, and it's hard to go that slow when everybody else is going faster.
I can give you some actual figures on it, because we just drove about 1,200 miles down to Florida, and I've averaged 13.9 miles per gallon of diesel towing this fifth wheel. That is going, I set my speed at about 66, 67 sometimes, and I put it on speed control. I've noticed in other trips when I tend to not use speed control, I drive a little faster, and my average is down in the upper 11s or the 12 miles per gallon. So right away, that sweet spot I found for us is about 66 miles an hour. And I thought, oh, people are going to get mad at me. No one's gotten mad. In fact, I sometimes still have to pass people at 66.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But it really increases your fuel efficiency. All right, number 6.
Camp for free. Look for places where you can camp free.
Oh, what really irritates us sometimes is when we're just going from one place to another, and we used to stop at a campground, and those rates are $40, $50, sometimes $60 a night. Just when we're only there, not even 10 hours, 8-10 hours. So we learned real quick, Cracker Barrel lets you stay for free. Get there a little earlier, before dark, so you don't have too much competition. Always ask the manager, because there are some jurisdictions that don't let you. Walmart's, you can always stay free there. And there are lots of other places as well. Membership in Harvest Hose.
Oh, Harvest Hose, that's great.
Yep, and then boondocking.
Oh, yeah.
We love to boondock. We always look for state forests. Almost always the state forest has dispersed camping or primitive camping. And if it's not free, it's just a few dollars a night. And those camping fees can really add up. So the more you stay free, the better your budget's going to be. All right, number 7.
Number 7, try to avoid camping if at all possible. Holiday weekends, special times of the year. If you can do it during the week, camp during the week, you'll usually get a better rate and a better spot to camp in.
Oh, case in point, we just began our travel to get here to Tampa this past weekend, which was Martin Luther King's long day weekend, that holiday. And we couldn't figure out why so many campgrounds, even like in Kentucky and places that are in colder northern climates, why were they so busy? And because more and more people are camping. So try and plan your time around that. Camp during the week. Do your traveling during the week. Usually campgrounds have a significant vacancy rate after about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock on Sunday, and they don't fill up again usually until Friday. So the more you can book your time there, the better off you'll be. So plan your location and your time. Number 8, it's a tip one of our influencers shared, the glampers, but
the senior military discounts.
and I think I don't want to miss that because that was really an important tip. If you're a veteran, almost every military installation has a campground.
And seniors, the national parks, in a lot of places you can camp for like half price.
Yes, always say if you are that age, I think it's over 62, do you have a senior discount? And you'll be surprised how many places do, and it saves money. Museums do that. Restaurants often have discounts for it, particularly.
Free cup of coffee or something.
Yep, so don't forget, don't be shy in asking for that. Number 9.
Free things to do.
Oh, there's so many free things to do. I always try and pick up, and usually a campground has it, or find the tourist office in town when you're visiting. They all have a list of activities, and you'll be amazed at all of the free things that you can take in. That's half the joy of traveling. What are some of them that we've done?
Like museums and farmers markets and just things that are fun to wander around and look at.
My favorite, popcorn days in Nebraska. Little town that's like the center for popcorn growing in the world, actually. We were just driving, doing a trip in Nebraska, and I saw a sign, Popcorn Days at this little tiny town, and I love popcorn, so we went, and it was just a great little town. Everybody celebrated popcorn because the crop had come in. Free popcorn. Everywhere you went, free popcorn. It was like nirvana for me. But it's one of those free things that make a trip so much enjoyable. Look for fun, free, community-based things to do as you travel. And number 10 of our list of money-saving tips.
Take pleasure in just the simple things.
You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it.
Going out at night and looking at the stars and the sky, taking a long walk.
Finding a ranger program at a state park and going and learning some stuff about the place you're staying. It's free, and it will bring you memories and things that you never would have picked up if you had paid money to go someplace.
I think some of the best times we've had is when we were camping and the rangers at night would have a program. I remember once we were looking at dinosaur bones or something, and we had one of our dogs, and the dog was like...
He saw the bone, yeah.
Holding him back. He was after that bone. A little embarrassing.
Well, we hope these help, and these are tough times, economic times, and we have one final piece of advice.
Whatever you do, don't stop camping. Make it work.
We'll be right back after this with the RV News of the Week.
When we're on a road trip, we always seem to find a way to stop at a Camping World center. There are over 225 Camping World locations across the country, and there's always one close by when we need parts and accessories for our RV or just want to shop. In fact, we have so much fun with Camping World, and as we talk about it as one of our sponsors, they have agreed to offer a 10% discount if you use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you buy $99 or more in merchandise. You'll find everything you want, from outdoor furniture and appliances, the ones you see us use in our videos and we talk about here in the podcast. RV extras that include everything from camping chairs to fire pits, electrical accessories, must-have gadgets. Check them all out. And again, don't forget, use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you visit campingworld.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Time now for the RV News of the Week. What do we got?
Okay, the first story. In California and southwest Oregon this past week, heavy rain continues to cause landslides, flooding, uproot trees, and sadly many deaths. In Oregon, a landslide closed a portion of US 101 along the coast, causing major disruptions in travel. Oregon officials hope to have the road opened later this week. In California, at least 18 people have died, as massive flooding has caused numerous problems, with one report saying the Montgomery Peninsula may soon be an island. At Pacific Dunes RV Park in Oceana, helicopters were used to deliver 200 pounds of ice to campers who were stranded in the park. As of this report, there was an emergency declaration in 41 of California's 58 counties, with 9 inches of rain having fallen and more expected into this week. 38 state parks are either fully or partially closed, and many national lands, such as Sequoia National Park, are also experiencing road closures and disruptions.
And it wasn't just California that had severe weather. There was an outbreak of tornadoes. They say 37 different tornadoes this past week struck parts of Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, and the southeast. 9 deaths attributed to those tornadoes. Just horrible storms. And one of the storms in one of the RV parks in Alabama, a couple were in their camper, and the whole park was severely damaged. Rigs were overturned. They were trapped inside their RV and had to be rescued to be pulled out of the wreckage. Fortunately, they weren't hurt too bad, but 9 people died in those tornadoes. So it's a proof that you got to pay attention to the weather, and that even in the middle of the winter, who would think? But those tornadoes swept through in January.
Now, a story that's not quite so heavy. RV sites for the Albuquerque Balloon Festival. Haven't you all? Isn't that on your bucket list that you want to go see that balloon festival? Well, RV reservations opened up for the Albuquerque International Balloon Festival last week.
But they're all sold out.
70 minutes. 1,785 sites were taken, and a waiting list was set up.
Can you imagine all the people who are on the phone, and okay, it opens up at 8 a.m., they hit the button, and they were filled. Think of that. In an hour and 10 minutes, 1,785 sites were booked.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of people have going there on their bucket list. I know it's on our bucket list.
It is, but we're not going to go this year. The dates are October 7th through the 15th. I got to do something about the sun coming through. Look at that. The Florida sun. It's here.
That hot air balloon festival is the largest in the world. So it is worth going to, and more than 500 hot air balloons are launched during that week.
And what's neat about it is you can camp right out where the balloons are being launched, and it's not that expensive. It's another one of those things that you can stretch your entertainment budget, have a great experience, and not spend a fortune. Unfortunately, all those camping spots are gone, but maybe 2024.
Get on the waiting list.
All right, when we come back, a brand new segment on the podcast, New Travel Tech. Stay with us. One of the most exciting developments for RVs is happening out west in Arizona. Western Land and Ranches is selling 5-acre high-elevation ranches just off the famous Route 66, the birthplace of the American road trip. Prices start at only $39,900, and these are beautiful, secluded tracts of land surrounded by majestic mountain ranges with sweeping valley views. The high elevation is a unique microclimate as well, giving you cooler temperatures, green grasses, and tree cover, making it unique for desert property. The community is in the center of it all, close to the best of the West, Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, the Colorado River, Flagstaff, Sedona, and historic Williams. If you're tired of crowded RV parks and paying high fees for sites, well, ownership might be right for you. This incredible collection of mountaintop properties called Greenwood Ranches hit the market, and it's selling out fast. There is no HOA. You can build a house, a cabin, outbuildings, or just RV. It's your property, your way, 100% ownership. Visit the website to get details and set up a showing, ArizonaRVland.net. That's ArizonaRVland.net. Welcome back, everybody. Time for a brand new segment on the RV podcast, New Travel Tech. And this is brought to you by our sister blog, newtraveltech.com. Write that down, newtraveltech.com. This blog reports on the many ways technology is enhancing today's travel experience. And this week we want to talk about something called family tracking apps, and in particular one that we use called Life 360. Let's tell them what a tracking app does.
Well, it started out as something that you could keep track of your kids, your teenagers, when they're beginning drivers or going out, not used to driving, and whatever weather conditions you have in your part of the country. That's how it started, was to keep track of your kids.
Now, for us, it's our kids keeping track of us as we travel in our RV.
Now our kids are keeping track of us. And I don't know if you're younger, older, whatever age you are camping, there's somebody that would like to know where you are
think about it. If you're like us, we do a lot of serendipity travel. I mentioned the Popcorn Festival as an example. That happens all the time. We're driving somewhere, we see a sign, we say, hey, let's change our destination, and we go somewhere else. If we don't tell people, and if something happens and the cavalry is needed, then they don't know that it's time to call the cavalry, let alone where we are. But with these apps on our smartphone,
I think it's peace of mind.
Yeah, for them, your family, and for you. We've heard a lot of stories over the past couple of years, 2 of them that I know in the last 12 months, about RVers who got lost. And it turns out they were okay, but huge searches were launched for them, and they just hadn't checked in with anybody, or there was bad cell service, and people couldn't track their route or get a general idea where they were. Now, you do need self-service for these apps to work, and the one we use, Life 360, we've set up kind of they call them circles. It's a group, and we brought all of our kids. I think a couple of our grandkids are in it. And you can call it up at any time, and it will show you where they are in real time. You can literally track them as they drive. In fact, that happened to us yesterday morning.
Yeah. We're going here, going there. Nobody quite knows where we are. Sometimes we don't know where we are.
Well, we were driving yesterday morning, and the phone rang, and it was our daughter Wendy who said, hey, you guys got an early start. So it was handy, very handy.
Well, I appreciated her calling and say you got an early start, because I kind of missed her, because she used to call all the time and say, where are you? What are you doing? And now she knows where we are and what we're doing.
Every time we'll get a text saying, well, you guys are making good time today.
Yeah.
So now, the one we use is Life 360. It's free. They, of course, like all apps, have premium editions where you can get all sorts of stuff, but the free one is enough for us. It gives smart notifications, your location history for a couple of days, and it just has lots of features. We'll put a link in the show notes for this episode. There are, as I say, premium versions available, and there are other apps that do the same kind of tracking. Fami Safe, F-A-M-I Safe is one. GeoZilla, Geozilla, that's another one. We don't use them, but they work much the same way. And recently, good old Google, they think of everything. They added a notification sharing on Google Maps, and you can use that to kind of share where you are with whoever you want to know. So check it all out. It as Jennifer says, it's peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
And family tracking apps. This is brought to you by our new sponsor for this segment, New Travel Tech, newtraveltech.com. That's the name of the blog. It's our sister blog, and I'm a geek, so we keep track of all sorts of gadgets and gear. Not necessarily all related to the RV lifestyle, although a lot of it is, but it has to do with the whole travel experience. So do us a favor, go over there and check them out, newtraveltech.com. And if you don't do that, go check out family tracking apps and get one of those. All right, we'll be back in a minute with the RV questions of the week. Stay with us.
When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battle-Born batteries. Battle-Born batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battle-Born batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battle-Born battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battle-Born batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium.
Now for the RV questions of the week.
All right, what do we got?
Okay, from Joe. And Joe is from our RV Lifestyle Facebook group. And Joe says, I have noticed that many campers' first order of business on arrival to a campground is to hook up the sewer. I usually wait a few days, 4 to 5 days, before hooking mine up and dumping the tanks, gray and black. No problem with smell. If I stayed longer, I leave it hooked up, closing the gate valve until next dump. Am I missing some advantage by making it a point to hook the sewer as soon as I get to the campgrounds?
It's no real difference, Joe. As you're leaving, dump them then, or on a hook them up then and dump, or on arrival, just hook them up. If you're just staying a day or so and you're not going to need to dump it all, don't bother hooking that up. But I think the reason you see so many people do it is one, you want to hook that up before you bring the slides. If you have a bigger RV, you want to hook it up before you bring the slides out. Otherwise, you might bump your head when you're down there setting it all up. So I think that's a practical reason.
And I think a reason is that it's a nasty job and you just want to get it behind you.
Yes, it's a stinky job.
It's a stinky job.
It stinks. But
somebody's got to do it.
But get that done. I know I did that today because we're going to be here in Tampa at the campground that we're staying at right on the fairgrounds for about a week. And so I hooked up our sewer. Now, you are smart, Joe. You know already, keep those gates closed. Keep them closed. You don't want to leave them open and have whatever you deposit in the toilet suddenly go in the tank. What you always want to do is fill that black tank as high as you can with fluids and whatever else, and there's solids that you put in, but fill it up, because then when you do empty it, it creates a stream. I mean, there's some pressure and all that washes out everything. If you don't do that, I don't know how to say this tactfully, if you don't do that, if you don't use enough water, you risk having what they call a poop pyramid in your black tank.
Now, hearing that, poop pyramid, you don't want to do that, so you will remember to not dump it too quickly.
Yeah, because that stuff will dry and it
You'll
stinks.
have a mess.
And so put a lot of fluids, a lot of water when you flush the black tank. And always flush that first, and then you use the gray tank to kind of clean out your hose. So I think that's why everybody does it. And one last thing, it's related, and I think you know this, Joe, is you didn't do it, but don't leave the black valve open and don't leave the gray valve open. Only open those valves when you're going to dump and drain. You don't have to do that every day. Do it when they're filled. All right, we would love to hear your comments and your questions. And also, we would like to have you wish us luck in getting our back windshield fixed, okay? We're going to try and do that while we work. But send us your comments and your questions, Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. We'll see you down the road.
Happy trails.